Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beat the Cult podcast, where we fight harmful religious thinking and practices. My name is Nikki, and today I am joined by Miss Sassy. Hi, Miss Sassy. How are you?
Hi.
Welcome. I appreciate you joining me today.
I know I've seen you on actually on Twitter for a while, and I'm like I agreed, agree with a lot of, what you have to say, and so I've, always found um your opinions, to be very interesting. um
You can go into things you hate too. That's what I'm here for, the smoke. As one of my friends says, I'm here for the smoke. Let's go. No, I'm playing. Not like in a
it's not really I
confrontational
hate.
way.
It's just like, obviously you're never gonna they're never gonna find someone who's gonna agree on everything with you. So it's like, it's
You
just
shouldn't. Yeah. You shouldn't find people like you should interact with people who disagree with you on
yeah.
topics so you can grow. Um, so that's I appreciate that. But one of the awesome things about you as a guest is you were religious at one point and also an atheist at one point, but I'm assuming are neither now.
Yeah, I don't really consider myself religious. The biggest reason why I consider myself, spiritual is because, yeah, I do believe in a higher being, but I have my own, opinions on things. I have my own doubts. I have, and it's like, if, you know, if I want to, let's say dabble into like tarot reading or whatever, like I'm gonna do
Ah,
it. And
okay.
I don't, I think that having a particular label such as like, Christian, or, it's just, it just has all this,
Baggage.
say baggage, or it just has all that. Like, you have so much pressure to
Mm,
believe a certain way, and so when you don't believe, everything within that, religion, it's just, it's a lot harder to call yourself, Christian or Jewish or whatever, and then to have to go into explaining, oh, I do this. Well, why do you do that? Because that goes against blah 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 blah. So
right. Or don't do this because if you don't do this, then that doesn't align with the expectations set
yeah.
for that particular religion. But
Yeah.
you said you used to be Christian long time ago in a
um
galaxy far, far away.
well, so I grew up in a family, very religious, and also like spiritual, but really like Christian. The two denominations that I mostly grew up with was Episcopalian and Catholicism.
Oh, very interesting. That's
Yeah.
great. That's different. A lot of
Yeah.
people come on here, they're like, well, we were Baptists or some
Yeah,
fire and
no,
brimstone.
not just one thing, but two things, and um so, I wasn't forced to believe in God, but on the other
Lucky.
hand, we prayed at the dinner table. So there was like, it wasn't, you weren't forced to believe a certain way, but you were also brought up. Yeah, you were still raised, kind of religiously. So, it just, it played a big part in me growing up to be so confused as
Hmm.
to what the truth is. And I spent my teenage years just really struggling so hard,
Hmm.
trying to figure out, what the truth is. And then I also, like, had all these doubts and, like, things that didn't make any sense in the Bible. Um and then with having a great uncle who is a, a Baptist preacher,
There it is.
and also became your Bible study, teacher. Um, so
Interesting.
it made things more and more difficult, to
Yeah, because
navigate into. Yeah.
Baptist, Catholic, Baptist, Catholic. Okay. I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is Baptist beliefs, Catholic beliefs, and Episcopalian beliefs don't always align, and Baptist is
Oh yeah.
extremely different. It's because there isn't really an intercessory priest or position that you have to
Hmm.
go through to get to God.
Yeah.
So that must have definitely been confusing, especially getting input
Oh,
from a
oh yeah.
Baptist preacher.
Yeah. And and also, you just growing up with, a mother who is very old fashioned in many, many, many ways. That
How
plays also
so?
like a big
Like
part.
with female
um
roles, like male and female roles, or
yeah, like, so, like, sex was never discussed, like, ever, like, sex was viewed as something disgusting, bad, like, hush hush, so
mm,
taboo.
right,
um and also, like, God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, that
right.
sort of thing. um and also, like, and it also just made me just have a hard time accepting the fact that, I was part of, and I'm part of, the LGBTQ community. So
Oh, you are. How
yeah.
so, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm pansexual.
Oh, very cool.
Yes.
Okay.
So when you're taught, when you're growing up knowing people who are gay, and
Hmm.
but your mother is, saying it's disgusting, or like, and just cringed at every scene that came on TV that included a gay couple.
That's my
Um,
father. Oh, this world today, this gay agenda. Oh, like, yeah, that's
yeah,
my dad.
yeah, and so it and when that when there's been signs from a very early age that, yeah, you're not really straight. um
Mm.
and then when you grow up in that kind of family, it's hard. And I went back and forth from, like, being against the community, and then accepting the community, and then coming to terms with myself, which I
Mm.
came to terms with myself fully, when I was like about 18 years old. So,
Good.
and that's when like backed away from being religious, because I was just, the things that were coming out of my mouth, like the prejudice, the bigotry, everything. It's just it.
Mm.
I finally realized, like, yeah, this is not who I want to be, and if this is who I have to be to believe in God, to be a Christian, I don't want any part of it. So
Right. Agreed.
yeah, so I backed away from it. I took time to figure things out on my own, to forge my own path, and then that ended up with me being an atheist. And when I remember when I felt I was obligated to tell my uncle, like, hey, I can't do this anymore, and
Ooh.
when you're being told, like, oh, like, God will tell me the real reason, like, did a man hurt you, or like what. So
I get that one a lot.
our
Yeah.
our relationship is very strained for a while, for a very long
Hmm.
time, because of that. And
Did you
you
tell them
know
you don't believe in God, or just you were questioning in general?
well, at the time, like, I didn't want to be a Christian anymore, and so that's like
Mm.
basically what I told him. And you know did not accept that very well. And
Yeah.
it was heartbreaking, because my my aunt, she was Catholic. And
Mm.
he he's evangelical, you know
Ooh. Ooh.
and
That's the
my
worst
aunt was
type.
Catholic. And so
Wow. How did they how did that work?
I don't know, don't ask
Are
me
they still
how.
married?
Well, unfortunately, my great aunt, she passed away a few
Oh
years ago.
no. Okay.
So
I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, so she passed away, and so it's just my uncle, but he's at a nursing home. He's been at a nursing home for a while now,
Oh.
but yeah, I don't know how that worked. I do not know how that worked, but
But they
it
stay
somehow
married. They
did.
didn't get divorced.
Oh no, they were married for like over 60 years.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, if they
very
can make
long.
it work, anybody can, right?
But the daughters, their two daughters were raised Catholic.
Mm.
Because of course, within Catholicism, you have to, in order to, marry a Catholic, you have to become one. So that's what he
Yeah.
did. Um,
Oh,
yeah, he became a Catholic, but though those were not his beliefs. He was Catholic by
interesting.
marriage. Yeah,
Oh, but he was
Catholic by
evangelical Baptist by
yes.
practice.
Yeah.
Wow. Love is love, huh?
Love is love. Yeah. So, um, so yeah. But my aunt being Catholic, devout Catholic, she never once pushed religion onto me. She didn't believe in that.
Interesting.
She just there was a lot more important things to talk about than religion. And
Agreed.
my uncle, it was all about God. Like there was like you couldn't have a conversation without God being involved.
That's my family. Yeah. They
It's
and they're
very frustrating.
evangelicals. So yeah, it is very frustrating. And
Yeah.
yeah, that led to people are like, you're so focused on God. I'm like, my family is. So even when I try to avoid it, whenever I speak to them, God comes up like every time. So it's kind of
Yeah.
unavoidable.
Yeah. So, but yeah, our relationship was, strained for a while, and then, things, things, kind of worked itself out.
That's good.
But yeah, I consider myself an atheist, and I was in the atheist community for a while, and
Okay.
I ended up going on, different channels. Like I was on Neil, the 604 Atheist.
Hi, Neil. He was on my
Yeah,
show
yeah,
earlier. He's
yeah,
great.
OG. Yeah, so I was on that, and then, like I mentioned to you, like I was on Truth Wanted and things like that, and so,
Mm,
um,
that was also fun. They're great.
yeah, it was very cool. Um, but and then after some time, deep down, I still had a God belief, but then I was like, well, I mean, I don't know what to do. Like, then what if I still believe in God somehow? Like, then what do I like? What are the rest of my beliefs, etc.? So it just took a long time to figure things out and to
Hmm.
get to where I am now. You know, um,
When you say deep down you had a God belief, how did you like? What do you mean by that? What type of God belief?
well, faith. I still had deep down. I still had belief and faith in God. That's what I meant. That's what I
Like the
mean.
Christian God or
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
oh, okay. Okay.
So, but yeah, like I said, it just took a long time to figure figure everything out and to be my own person.
Yeah.
And during the time that I was, regardless of what, like whether when I was a Christian or like when I was atheist, or I received so much hate, because, and the reason for
Mm.
receiving so much hate when I was in the atheist community was because I believe strongly in coexisting with one another, and I came across so many atheists who did not agree with that, and
How do you
would
mean? Like
they
coexisting with
they wanted to, like, they're the kind of atheists that did not just, they didn't want to leave religious people alone, the ones that did no harm and that weren't shoving their beliefs down. Like, they have this debate me attitude, and like religion should just be like abolished in
completely
general.
abolished?
Yeah,
Oh no.
so that's why, like, I believe in so much in coexisting. Like, I do not care whether you're an atheist, Christian, Jewish, I don't care. If you're respectful, if
If you don't
you're not
hurt others,
causing harm
vote
to
against people's
yourself.
best interests or
Yeah.
that your kids. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and like I don't care. Like, I
Me
don't care
neither.
what you believe in. Like
Exactly. That's what I
I
say. I'm like, if you're like one of those Christians, like my brother, my uncle, or my aunt, I would be, if like all Christians were like them, I would have no page. I would
yeah.
have no reason to do this. So yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I came across a lot of atheists who did not agree with that, and so
That's
I
interesting.
got a lot of pushback from my views, and
Hmm.
so I received hate on both ends, and that's why
Jeez.
I understood from both sides. I understood,
Mm.
what it's so wrong to receive, like the hate from being religious, and I also understand receiving hate from being an atheist. I know
Yeah.
both sides, so
Wow.
it
Okay.
became I became so like passionate and wanting to just build a bridge, between, everyone, to like, hey, we can have our own beliefs and should be able to live peacefully and like, to get
Mm.
along, or to like disagree on things but not have it turn into hate or arguments. But
Right.
unfortunately that's not the case, and it will never be the case. It
No, it
will
will never be the
never
case.
ever.
No.
So
Mm.
um and then um then when I stopped identifying as an atheist, when I did like become, spiritual, I lost a lot of the support
Mm.
that I
Yeah.
had, and I lost a community. I did.
Yeah.
And
That
I
sucks.
just I just stopped. I everything just like went down the drain as soon as I stopped identifying as an atheist.
Mm.
And I stopped really making content. I stopped everything and kind of just backed away from almost everyone that
Mm.
I had considered friends and I thought
Mm.
were my friends too. And um so but I still, during that entire time till now, I want to, get back into having conversations and
Yeah.
to
Absolutely.
finding common ground. And um because that's the most important. That's really important. And but yeah.
No, you're right. It's really difficult when, excuse me, I'm still kind of getting over the beginning of the year sickness, but
Yeah.
it's really difficult when people in the atheist community are as dogmatic as people in the religious community, and their inflexibility. Everyone needs to think like me. Nobody needs to oppose my views in any ways. If you are religious and you're stupid, you're an idiot, and like
Yeah.
those types of concepts don't help. It would be better, or at least what I try to do, is to approach it from a very specified perspective of, this is the type of thinking we are directly attacking. If
Uh-huh.
you are religious and you live a healthy life and you're not hurting others, and go for it, more power to you. But also being able to foster healthy and mutually beneficial relationships with people who are religious.
Yeah.
Because it's really, we're all operating in this world together. We
Yeah.
make it work somehow, and we do it through putting those things aside. But people, yeah, the atheist community can be really tough. Um, but it's interesting, especially in situations like this, where people still like worship the Christian God or believe in the Christian God.
Yeah.
How do you? So I'm assuming. So you describe yourself as spiritual,
Mhm.
but your God belief is a monotheistic God belief.
So even though I I believe in the Christian God, um I do not claim I do not, I'm not gonna sit here and say, well, all the other gods don't exist, but I'm also not gonna say they do. Like, I don't know. And I'm not going to also sit here and say, well, I have evidence that my God exists. That's just what faith means. Faith means, you know, it's, you know, you can't like, you can't prove any deities, you know, so it's like, that's why it's faith-based, but, you know,
Sure.
but yeah, so I don't claim that other deities exist, and I don't claim that they don't exist. You know, it's
Sure.
whatever. You know, I've got more things in my life that I've got to worry about
Right.
than to like sit here and be like, well, is Buddha real? Is Thor real?
Thor. He is real and he has a great body.
Yeah.
Pretty great body, actually. He looks amazing.
So but yeah, I just and you know, there's you know, some things I can get behind when it comes to like the Bible, but there's, you know, a lot that I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna really believe in that.
I think that's good, especially today. People claim to get their morality from the Bible, and I'm like, if you got your morality from the Bible, you'd be in jail.
Yeah.
You would be in jail. We don't do those things anymore. You can't just go next door and kill the man and take his wife and kids. And I've conquered him. This is now my land, and this is my woman.
Or I'll sell your daughter, you know.
Right. I'm like, if your daughter, unfortunately, which happens is like, you know, raped, I'll just say raped, if she's raped or whatever, you can't just go to the dude in the courthouse and be like, all right, so I'll drop all the charges if you just, you know, slide a couple thousand my way, you know, like you don't do that. Like, and then or give her to him. Like, if you buy her, you can have her as a wife anyway, since you've kind of already soiled her. Like, you don't do that.
But you know, like when it comes to, you know, but it's also important to like, you know, realize that, you know, back when, you know, in that time period, you know, when people like, yeah, they did believe in those kind of things, and you know,
I'm glad we evolved.
Yeah, and a lot of things happen culturally, and you know, so it's just like it'd be kind of unrealistic, I think, to like say every single thing was, you know, not real, like true in the Bible, or to say that, you know, oh, it's impossible, like, or like think it's stupid. Well, because, you know, it just, there's so many reasons why things came about, like why these certain beliefs, you know, came to existence, and you know, why people during that time period believed what they believed, etc. So, you know, there's a lot that has to be taken into account for. And so, but yeah, like I said, just that I'm not, you know, I'm very well aware of like the many contradictions and everything that's within the Bible, and so it's like, yeah, you know, I will probably say I'm a cherry picker. Every Christian, everyone who believes in the Bible, or you know, like you're gonna cherry pick, and it's just like, oh, I'm a true Christian. Okay.
Well, what does that mean?
Sure.
What does that mean?
That because Baptist people over there thinks they're true Christians. That Catholic thinks they're true Christians. That you know, like, it's just,
and they all think that you're not. And the people, I think, I can't remember who said it, but like the worst possible Christians that others would say are not Christians are actually the more biblically aligned ones that agree that, you know, gay people shouldn't be allowed to get married, that women are owned by their fathers and shouldn't be allowed to teach and preach. People look at those people and say, oh, they're not real Christians, but they're actually more biblically aligned, and that's the problem. And that's why cherry picking is important, because you don't want to look at, I mean, if you're going to be biblical, or just be honest about it and say, well, you know, I agree with some things, I don't agree with others, I get what I can out of it. It does have a functional purpose in my life, but I
Yeah.
incorporate other, more mature outlooks and not just run with what I'm given.
Yeah, so and like my best friend Matt and I, like, oh my gosh, we torture ourselves by watching Paula Morgan and like Girl Defined.
Oh,
Oh yeah, we binge watch.
did you see the Paula Morgan episode with Jacqueline Glenn and her boyfriend or husband? I think it's her husband.
Yeah, I think I saw that one. Yeah, I think I saw that one, but I every time I call up Matt, I'm like, hey, so what you doing? And he's like, oh no.
What did you see on Girl Define? Oh yeah, like
Girl Define, yeah, and like and
mm-mm.
Paula Morgan, like he calls them Dumb and Dumber.
They are. For me, I just don't understand. Like, I mean, God bless Paul, but if you're gonna be my man and you make me submit to you and you be the head of my house, you need to be a man. Be a man. Be a man's man.
It's just so. I like. So we watched they're like their recent video.
I don't know how you put up with that. I could only do. They did like a commentary on WAP, which I had to watch because I was watching like all the Christian commentaries on that.
I know everywhere. That is the song.
I love that song. Come on,
I
will drop WAP immediately.
Yeah.
I rewatched the Ben Shapiro I just rewatched all because it was so funny to me, and just the way the Christians were freaking out. I was like, this is hilarious.
It's funny is like I don't know if you watched Medea or not, but it's like
Medea's my guilty pleasure. I hate to admit it cracks me up.
So
it's
in
so funny.
I think it was
like that South Park episode, like why do Black people love Medea? All Black people love Medea.
So I think it was like the movie called Homecoming, but in a scene, the cat like Medea kept like hearing like the song WAP being played, and then she's like,
I missed that.
if you're that way, you need to see a gynecologist.
Oh, that's Ben Shapiro's input from his wife. Everyone's like, Ben Shapiro cannot get his wife wet.
It's and what's funny is that when you see Paul and Morgan, well, specifically Paul, like commentating on things like this, it's like, dude, you only been with one person. You don't know anything about the
reportedly been with one person.
Yeah.
He was probably one of those born again virgins, like my mom was. Yes, I was a born again virgin.
I'm sorry. I should say it was supposedly being with one woman.
It doesn't count if it's a man during vacation Bible school. You get a pass.
It doesn't count.
It doesn't count. It was just exploring, but sinful. So no, it would not shock me if that guy was gay at all.
It's only wrong if you stick it in
right. All the way in, just the tip is not. God, there's a boundary.
Oh God!
Oh my gosh! I'm gonna have to see that Medea Homecoming.
Yeah, I think it's called. It's the episode where the grandson or nephew has his graduation part, like coming home for graduation and from college, and it's just and his best friend.
How does this have a 5.6 out of 10? That's good for a Tyler Perry movie.
Oh yeah, like his grandmother and his mother come from Ireland, and it's just I gotta send you the clip because it's I
think I see hilarious. It. Medea Homecoming WAP scene. She's talking to an old lady or another old lady. I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's the grandmother. Yeah, that's the grandmother of. They're both just like
came out like a year ago.
Yeah, it was very recent. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Tyler Perry's billionaire status now, so well done, Tyler. Shoot.
So yeah, it's funny. It's like I said, it's when you Paul comment like, "Dude, you don't know shouldn't like.
You can get out curse on much. It's fine. You don't know shit, Paul. With Tim Tebow, you're probably in the closet. So
yeah. Oh yeah. He
I
is.
swear Tim Tebow is gay. I know for a fact Tim Tebow is gay.
Oh my God! You are not the. My mom was convinced that he's gay.
He's gay. Tim Tebow is gay. I will go to my grave saying that. That man is gay. And a few years ago with the whole, I don't know if you watch college football, but there was this Notre Dame player named Manti Te'o. And he had this like girlfriend catfishing scandal that got out and people figured out about it. And he went into hiding for like a decade because it was so embarrassing. My theory is that the catfish, the girlfriend was Tim Tebow. That's my theory. I'm pretty sure. They were having an illicit relationship, but they couldn't really have it. And then it got out, and it was Manti Te'o who had to lie and say, well, I was being catfished by this girl I'd never met. And she was from Hawaii. No, it was Tim Tebow. Oh. But yeah, Paula Morgan, girl defined. You know what's wild to me is that behind the scenes, I'm sure those people are freaky deaky.
I would not. I don't say. Not Paula Morgan or they probably only doing missionary.
Hey, listen, let me tell you something. If you looked in that bedside table, you might see some interesting artifacts in that bedside table. You know.
I know. I would pay to like find. I would pay to see them doing all the freaky deaky shit. Like I would pay to see that. Like.
I would paying. I don't know if I'd buy their porn, but I'd probably just get satisfaction from knowing they were doing it. Because I love the hypocritical. Like there's such a. I think it's called. My friend Renee is going to get on me for this because I cannot speak German, but it's Schadenfreude. I can't remember the word or how it's pronounced, but it's like this feeling of satisfaction you get from watching someone else fuck up. It's just awesome. It's like a great feeling. So I would love that.
You know, if with them, you probably like just you probably like hear a lot of, where does this go? Oh, like that's where it goes, or why is it warm, or like
why is it warm? Why is it wet?
Why is it wet?
Like Ben Shapiro says it's not supposed to be wet, and his wife is a doctor.
Oh yeah, before they do anything, I can imagine them just like let's pray over this, dear God, please let's have this, you know, like just do a praying session, and then they get into it, and then if something didn't feel right. Let's bring us to the Lord. Let's bring us to
stop in the middle and start praying. Yeah, they're wild, but they're just examples of Christianity.
But you know, that was sad. I don't know if you have watched this particular video or not, but if you didn't, I gotta send it to you. But I feel so bad for not Paul Morgan. I mean, Girl Defined, Kristen Bethany's husband, because they literally said in a video on their channel that they were not really that attracted to their husbands.
Well, why are they married? Were they attracted to each other, or why are they married to them?
Because it's like, oh, the Lord like guided me, and like, you know, it's all about personality, and like, you know, if he's a godly man, then you know that's the one for him, or like me, or blah 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 blah.
What does that have to do? You know what? That's wild to me, because that sounds like my mom and my dad, and like how my dad apparently married my mother because he saw some clouds in the sky after so long, and went to the pastor and said, I'm marrying this woman, and then met my mom for dinner and said, I'm marrying you, and they got married.
I think they call that schizophrenia.
Oh, I hope not. Oh my God. I really hope not.
I'm so sorry. But I'm very sarcastic. I am so sarcastic. Like,
no, I understand. But that's the wild thing about people just do the wildest shit, and then they use religion to justify it. And then because other people don't agree with them, they'll turn around and say, well, you're not representing my religion correctly because you see the foolishness in my behavior, and you wouldn't also, you know, replicate my behavior. So, because Girl Defined and Paula Morgan, they're just another group of individuals who are so judgmental and represent the exact type of Christianity that honestly I speak out against and that you say isn't appropriate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's just 98% of what they say is just garbage, and it's just
It
like,
is.
and like,
They remind me of the
my
people I grew up with in my church, that heavy emphasis on modesty, femininity, submitting to your husband, and other
oh
bullshit ideas from the Bible and the church. Just
yeah, and
bullshit.
like, it's so smart to save yourself for marriage, and then turn out that you suck in bed, and
Yeah.
like, but you're stuck with
You
that
both
person
suck in
because
bed. Yeah, exactly. And I've never understood, because my parents had the same perspective. They were like, no marriage, sex before marriage, which the only person I think may have adhered to that is my youngest sister, who's getting married in May. And like the rest of us, what are you talking about? And we have done some wild, like yeah. So no sex before marriage. Other things like, no, we don't adhere to that. The it's just, my brother is gay, I'm also gay, so there's been all types of illicit sexual practices taking place that my parents would just die if they knew. But it's unrealistic to tell somebody to not engage in the most primal biological behavior possible before this certain ambiguous timestamp in your life. It's just weird.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just very weird.
It's like, I could go, I don't know, like go, oh, I get you could ask like my friend Matt, because I get so wound up on like these like particular topics, because it's just like everything, it's just so cringy, and it's just like there's so much to like unpack and
Yeah.
be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, it's not even about, oh, we're like, it's not about like, we're just in 2023, like, no, it's just, no matter what year, this is stupid. Like,
Yeah.
it's just stupid in general. Like, it
Does your mom know that you're pansexual?
I one years ago I came out to her, but then I think she just kind of like just removed it from her head, like, just did not want to think too much about it,
Right.
because because I think, if I remember correctly, when I came out to her, she was like, I figured because your dad's gay, and I'm
Wait,
like,
what? Stop. Is your dad gay?
Bisexual. Yeah.
Wait. How do you know that your dad is bisexual?
Because I don't want to get. Because,
Oh, wait a minute. We should have started here. What? That is so interesting. Like an interesting. Are you guys still married?
Oh no, they
Okay.
had been divorced for like over a decade.
Oh, okay, okay. But when they were married,
Yeah.
was your dad bisexual or
Well,
sleeping?
there's things that how he would act, and then like when, and he had a really big problem with infidelity, to my mom. So it's just like, when there is one time when I think it was like when she suspected of him cheating, we ended up like coming across him like being in a vehicle with a guy or something. This is so long ago, but yeah, like, even though I don't think he just admits it, yeah,
Interesting.
so
Wow. So is he? So, but she said that makes sense because your father isn't straight 100%. So,
yeah.
and you said okay, but okay. Can you explain? Okay, so I might get canceled for this, so I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna.
Oh, Tama, let's be real
I'm gonna
here.
get
No matter
canceled.
what anyone says, it's gonna get canceled.
I'm gonna
It's
get
because of this
canceled.
woke culture. Blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything
Right.
is just
Oh goodness. And even though I'm more like when it comes to social issues, I'm very, very left leaning. When it comes to like taxes and stuff, I'm a little more right leaning because I like money. But like and I'm kind of like in my head kind of capitalistic because I like, I'm right now I'm studying to learn how to run project management skills, so, improve so I can make more money and then start my own businesses. So that is kind of a more right leaning perspective. When it comes to social issues, I am left leaning, but I still have a lot of questions and I'm confused about a lot of things. And
I
I
think a
have
lot
to
of people nowadays are. I'm sorry. I'm
no, but
sorry.
it's true. I am confused. And as a lesbian woman, I have to, with 1 point tiny percent, middle, like tiny, minute percent of
Yeah.
sexual attraction towards one single man on the planet, I have to admit, I don't understand pansexuality. What is that like? So, what's the difference between pansexuality and bisexuality? I guess I'll
So,
ask.
from my understanding of the difference between the two is, so for being pan, you are attracted to someone, no matter no matter what they identify as. Versus, well, if you're bisexual, you are attracted to a man or a female, so that can have its limitations. That, to my understanding.
Like
So,
strictly biologically male or female?
um, well, that's depends on the person, I guess. But like for its definition, you are attracted to either a man or a female. But for being pan, it's just you know you're attracted to more to who that person is, like as a person rather than how they identify for the most part. Um,
So
but even
pansexual,
even
because you can be bi and pan, maybe?
no, because that wouldn't really work out because, like I said, with being pan, you're attracted to the person, whether they're a guy or a girl, or but and that wouldn't really, and to me, in my mind, it wouldn't. I don't see how that works with also being bisexual, but yeah,
So
so
that
it's just
includes like trans individuals,
like being
furries.
pan, yeah, it's an attraction to the person for who they are, not for what's in their pants or how they identify, etc.
Okay.
But like for me, for example, like I'm attracted to, not to every chick, like not as many as I'm like many guys, I could be attracted to, or like ha ha ha. But it takes a particular chick to get me going. I will say, like, but
That's
I
like
cannot.
with me and men. It's only one
Yeah.
man that gets just one. And it's like,
and when it and when it comes to like intimacy, I cannot be really in like I cannot see myself being intimate every day, with a woman. I could only really be intimate like that with a man. And so
interesting.
it's just like even when you're pan, you kind of have, your preferences a little bit, or but it's not that much big of a difference between being pan or bi, but there is a difference. There is.
But did you mention that you were engaged right
Oh well, this is my second time being engaged to my
now?
fiance.
Congrats.
It's been like we've been together for a little over a year now, and
Okay.
it has been like oof, like it has
Uh-oh.
been such a very long journey. I will say that.
Are you ready for forever? I mean, that's not my business. Well, the way you said it sounded strenuous, so I'm
It's
asking.
for me, like when I'm with someone, especially long, if I'm gonna be with someone long term, and if I'm already with someone, for a while, and but you've given your all to that person, and you spent so much time, energy, love, affection, etc., to that one
Right.
person. for me personally, this is just from me, to myself, I kind of resent being a girlfriend.
Mm,
Because I see myself like we're beyond that puppy dog love stage. Like we're way
mm,
beyond that. So it's just like, to me, it just like gets under my skin a little. It's like cringy for me to be considered a girlfriend when
mm,
we are way past that stage. And and everyone, who lists, like, who hears this, like, well, that's not what being boyfriend girlfriend. But like, I'm just saying this for me, for like, just personally, that's just how I feel when it comes to being the labeled as boyfriend and girlfriend. But
so being
so
a fiance is like a natural progression, even if you don't get married?
yeah, it's just to me, it's a further step in your relationship. And in general, that, I mean, that is, when you get engaged, you are further into your relationship. It's more serious. And then obviously when you become marriage, it's even way more serious now.
Well, that's like the
But
ultimate seriousness, I
that's
would
like,
say.
that's, yeah. But with everything, and I can't, like, I too much, like, to really personal to get into for details. But I don't know if we will ever get married, and because of
Hmm.
what we've been through. And but and I don't know what the future holds. But we're,
So if you're
yeah,
unsure if you're gonna get married, why are you guys still together?
it's, there is love, and there, it's just, like I said, when you put everything into this, the person. And for me, it's hard
Mm,
walking
yeah.
away from someone that I deeply care about, and that I,
Sure.
have built, a life, like, a period of your life, my life with.
That's
And
right.
so it's just, I don't give up easily on people that I, you know, are very, very close to me. And so
I
there's
understand
just
that.
there's just a lot of reasons why it's just not that easy, to just
Mm,
like, oh yeah, well, we'll just find, like, we'll just split up. And I mean, we've broken up a few times. I don't It wasn't very that long, but but we have broken up, and but then we got back together and such. And but like I said,
as
I don't know what the future holds. And it's just taking it day by day. And you know
well, as long as someone's not cheating or beating, that's what I say.
I mean, I know I don't cheat. I've been cheated on in the past, and
Oh
I've
no.
been taken advantage of multiple times, more times than I can count.
Oh gosh.
So it's just
People
like,
are
if you cross that
predatory.
line, no matter how close I am with you, if you cross that line, we're done. I
Yeah,
like There's just no going
cheating
back.
is
Like,
a
there's
capital punishment for me. I That's just because I would never, and I've never cheated, and I would never cheat because your relationship is supposed to be, when you get in a relationship with someone, that's where you go for solace. You don't, once the person cheats or you cheat, that solace is broken and that
yeah,
trust is broken. And I will never be at peace. I'll always think, oh God, what is she doing? Where is she right now? Where
yeah,
is she? Like
exactly,
that.
exactly.
I couldn't do that personally.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I will say, and I give a fair, like, very fair warning to the, people, for couples who are going through a situation in the relationship. And if they go over, the possibility of being friends with benefits,
Ooh,
don't go down that, do
that's
not
a
go down
very
that path.
dangerous road.
It
Yeah.
makes things so much more complicated. And it
Yeah.
just, it puts more baggage, for that relationship. And that's what it did to us. Like, that's what it did to us, because at one point we thought that maybe, well, if we can't work it out as a couple, well, maybe like we can do, like slowly, walk away from each other, but like do it like being friends with benefits. And it was one of the worst things we could have ever done to our relationship. And I wasn't respectful in how I went about it. And so it created way more stress and there needed to be. And so I just, people, like couples, do, like, if you are gonna go down that path, you need to think long and hard about it, because it's you can't go back once you make that decision. Once gone out with people, once you can't go back from it, and whatever damage is done, it's done. And so it's not something you want to add to that, the problems you already have.
Is he also a Christian?
No, but oh God, this is a different story. Okay, so he is not. He was raised by very, and I mean very, religious parents. And so
relatable.
And I will say, it is the biggest core problem of the issues he's had to deal with, and what he's still going through now as an adult. It's because of religion. And that's why, like, I also say, like, religion can do so much harm to people. And it did do a lot of harm. It did a lot of harm to him. And it's just, and this is one of the reasons why we have struggled so much in our relationship, is because of those problems of how he was raised.
Do they like tie to gender roles, or how do they manifest?
No, it's just when you are being raised as, what are you living for? Like, there's no reason to make long-term plans. There's no reason to be happy back, because you cannot be here tomorrow, because like Jesus and Revelation and that's just not, that's not the only bad thing that bad part of his upbringing, but that's just one of the biggest things. And so it caused too much, just way too much mental health issues and anger problems and such. And so it's just very hard. And like I kind of get along, I do get along with his family, but
well, that's good, at least.
But I feel so bad for the children that have been raised and are being raised still in this strict Christian, mindset, because they are, I know that I'm not, without putting names, putting out names, one of his nieces, can't come out, to the to the family, because once, if you're gay, we're gonna disown you.
Oh no. Yeah.
So it's like,
I understand that.
I just feel so bad. And then one of his other nieces, which she is a teenager, I think she's a teenager, for her to be so I don't want to go to hell, that just makes me so sad. To you've already instilled that fear into a young person's mind. It's gonna cause them a lot of turmoil in their future. So
his siblings are very religious as well, and raise their kids.
Oh yeah, they are very, he's the only one that I don't know if he's an atheist, or he's just having a very hard time trying to like figure out like, hey, I can believe in God, but I don't have to be like this because of his upbringing, because he was very, like, conservative Christian household, you know. So
Is he, if you don't mind my asking, and this has a lot to do kind of what conservative means, is he what's his, I guess, race or
he's white.
ethnic? Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So conservative in white families means a lot. It's different than conservative in black families.
Yes. For me, like for me, it's, you know, it's hard trying. It's hard to understand the real, like, I guess, like the issues behind, you know, Christianity, well, like within the black community, because I grew up within the white, you know, community. My mom
Mm,
raised me. She's a white woman,
mm,
and so being raised in a mostly white, you know, family house, like, I mean, family, and also, you know, just in a town where there's not many people like me, you know, and being told that, you know, oh, you don't want to end up with a black man because, you know, he's into drugs.
mm.
So I grew up being with
Yeah,
my half my culture being suppressed
yeah,
because, you know,
yeah.
and so like I've been completely ignorant, you know, of a lot of the issues. And so I literally, until like a few years, well, a couple of years ago or so, a few years ago, I didn't start, you know, I didn't start to like really learn more about my culture and like to understand the issues, because I've just been hidden from everything. I from most
Mm,
of my life. And so trying to learn that as an adult, it's kind of hard.
yeah.
Um and so I just, when you know, when I think about religion, I'm like, well, why does it matter if they're black? Like, what, like, I know that a lot of black people are Christians, but it's like, what does it
Most.
matter? Like, what's the problem? Like, you know, like, it's hard. It's kind of like, it's a learning process for me, you know, because of my upbringing.
Yes, and yeah, I mean, absolutely, and a lot, most African Americans are Christian, um, like Baptist or AMA. I can't remember, African American, this denomination, but yeah, like the practices are different. But um, it is tough when you, I guess, are raised one way, but part of you is, like you said, being suppressed. But that part of you is such a big part of who you are as a person,
Yeah.
and not confronting that could, I don't know, it could take away from,
Yeah.
I guess,
And
personal
you
development.
and what's funny is like and you know, how long ago was it? Like a couple of years ago, there was this woman who I had looked up to. She is half, half native, half white, and um, she hated her white side,
Mm,
and she was like, you don't want to be with a white man, like they just view you as a trophy, like, you know, someone to gawk at, you know, because you are mixed race, like, you know, they don't treat you, they're not going to treat you with the respect that you deserve. You need to be with a black man, you need to, or be with a man of color. And
I
with
feel
like,
like those arguments can go reversed as well, because black men tend
yeah.
to be, like, especially successful black men tend to gravitate more towards white women and lighter skinned women as trophies as well, and
So
also aren't
what's funny
the
is that
best, I guess, choice.
I can't really, there's only been, you know, like, yeah, there are black men that like I've been attracted to, but I could not end up in a relationship with a black man because
I
of
couldn't either.
strong personality, like, you know, like it just clashed too much, because I am very outspoken, I am very sassy, like, you know, I'm independent, you know, and, you know, I it's just it clashing, and also I just It's not
Really?
mostly really a preference, like, for me in general, but and not many black men find me attractive or gravitated towards me. It's mostly been white men and
Really?
Latino men. Oh yeah. Oh, don't get me started on Latinos. Oh Lord.
Latino men. That's so interesting because black men, I've like for me, if I was straight, I'm naturally I've just well, as a kid I was more attracted to like black guys, but as I aged I've realized, especially over the past few years, even though I've come to terms with my sexuality and coming to terms with my sexuality, I've actually realized that I'm not as attracted to black men as I was
Uh-huh.
previously. And if I was to date, I mean, like, I don't like men, but like, if I had to date a
I don't
man,
like men either. They suck, but you know.
they do. I mean, I can't deal with, I can't even like, even seeing, and I realize I don't like penises like at all. And they are like creep me out. And even seeing a penis on like the one man in the world, I would like, okay, if I was with him, I would be straight. Even seeing his penis, I was like, oh, so I don't think I would even like it was just like, oh, but like if I had to date men, like I will say this, the men that like if a man gets my attention and I think, oh, he's hot, it's usually a white man.
Yeah, that's the way it is for me. Like I'm mostly attracted to white guys and Latinos. That's what I gravitate towards, and
Yeah.
those are the kind of men that usually towards me. And I there's a funny, like, I've got plenty of like stories, but like one in particular. So I was this is before I even met my fiance. I was single, and so I was at this, bar, and I think I was waiting for a friend or something, and I was all dressed up. Like, I had my shorts on, I had,
Mm-mm.
my heels and stuff. I was like all prettied up, and there was this car that drove in the parking lot, and all these Latinos that came out, and like I was sitting on the bench outside, like on my phone, and then I look up, and they're like smiling, and like they're like flirting and all that. And then when they came out of the restaurant, and then as they were about to leave, they gestured to me to toward like come to like the vehicle. I'm like, okay. And
Uh-uh.
then
Mm, snatch it.
I'm like, can I get your number? Like, and they're right from Mexico, so they were Mexican. I'm like, oh.
It's
And like
very that's so interesting.
what gets me is when they call me mommy, and then
Mm,
I turn right back and I'm like, I papi. Like,
Poppy. Yep.
I am. Oh, like, you want to see a Latino man melt to his knees? You'd say that to him, and
Yeah.
that will hook them.
Yeah. They
You know.
tend to like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And this is funny. Is like my best friend. He's native, and he's technically white, native, and Mexican, but he's half Mexican. And so it's funny is like whenever he says or does stupid shit, I'm like, I call him pendejo.
Pendejo. Yep.
I
Yeah.
and I've actually made Latino men like kind of like pissed off, because they like when I come back, like when I insult them in Spanish, they're like, it's like they're more offended because I insulted them in their own language. Like, like instead of just saying it in English, like I come right back to the Puerto Rican. I'm like, yeah, pendejo. Like I, so it's just like it's kind of funny, but yeah. So growing up with being my black side being suppressed, and then and also is like my mom, she didn't care, like she didn't give a shit about her own culture. She really didn't. So it's just like I grew up with such an identity crisis.
Mm,
And
yeah.
and have grew up, even though I grew up the way I did. I know there's something about wanting to learn more about my heritage and
Mm,
everything,
yeah.
was just so important to me. And then eventually I took a DNA test,
Oh.
find out. Yeah, because I wasn't gonna get anything from, and I was gonna get nowhere from with my mom.
Right.
And my dad, he didn't know exactly where in Africa like we were from. So, and as many African Americans, they don't know exactly where they come from,
No.
particularly.
My
So
cousin had to do that research for the whole
yeah,
family.
and so
Yeah.
I did, and I'm like, I'm more white than I thought.
Mhm.
My friend Matt, he's like, you're the whitest black girl I've ever met.
Have you any idea how many times I hear that? I hear that all the time. You're
I know,
white. You sound white.
you sound like,
You're
yeah.
more actually more people have called me in the past like 2 months a white man than ever. But I'm like, they're like, you're a white man. My friend is white and she's like, you're a white man. You're a white man inside a black woman's body. I'm like, why do you say that? And then my friend is like, you're just a white man. I'm like, what am I doing to make you all think that I am a white man? What did I say? And
Oh, that's funny.
I'm like,
So
what did I
funny.
do? They're like, you're not black at all. I'm like, what does that mean? Is it because I talk about money and like businesses a lot and I want that? Why? Is it what are you talking about? I don't know.
I know.
I
It's
get
just
that a lot as well.
like
Why is calling you white?
I'm not racist. I am not racist at all. But you know what? Here and there's just some shit that I can't help but fucking
Oh,
laugh,
honey.
or like jokes to make like. And there's this person on YouTube years ago I came across that had made a white people song and a black people song, a Mexican people song, and an Asian people song. And I still know the lyrics. Well, a lot of the lyrics to the black people song, because I like,
Black people.
oh yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just catchy. Like it's just catchy.
Yeah, send me the links to those. That sounds funny.
Yeah, like, because like one of the lyrics is like, black people, one big family with a really big bucket of KFC.
We never ate KFC. That's so weird to me. Like we never.
Oh
We.
yeah, every
I can't
every
even.
time,
I
like when
won't
my
say
mom,
never. It's very rare. We would
when
eat
my
KFC.
mom and dad were together, whenever we would go visit his side of the family, like my grandmother, my great grandmother, oh yeah, every time
There was KFC. Really?
KFC,
Oh my god.
KFC, yes, KFC.
Was there orange soda as well and
Yeah,
a picture of MLK on the wall next to Jesus and Obama?
No, like this is no, I didn't see any like anything to do with like president, but yeah, like
They love Obama,
KFC.
MLK, and Jesus, or we do tend to, but
Religious,
they
yes, because my dad, he comes from a religious, I think it was like Baptist. I think his
probably
I think
Baptist.
I think it was Baptist. But so it's just, yeah. But when it comes to food, yep, go KFC. Oh yeah, like I don't
Oh my
remember eating
gosh.
anything else but
Really?
KFC.
Oh my God,
Like
no.
every
At
time
least
I
fry
went
some
there.
fish or something. Just spaghetti?
Oh no, it was
Fried
all
fish
it
and
was all
spaghetti?
chicken. And it's not being like, I'm like dead serious. It was chicken. Like all I can remember is chicken and mashed potato. Like that's all I can. And I'm
Well,
like,
stereotypes do come from somewhere, so
yeah, exactly.
they do.
Yeah,
Oh
but
my God.
so it's funny. And so I crack jokes here and there, but like
Sure.
it's funny. My brother, so my siblings, well, two of my older siblings, we have the same mom but different dad. And so like their dad is white, so they're white, they're like white folks.
White folks. White folks.
White folks, yeah. So my brother, he cracks jokes at me like growing up. Oh my god. And then one of the jokes he came up with, because his family, well, a lot of like from his father's side, their culture is Scottish. So he cracked a joke about like me being a black Scotsman if we ever traveled to Scotland, and then the people would call me the black Scotsman. I'm like, thank you. But at the time, he didn't know that there was there was going to be Scottish, on my mom's side. So when I took the DNA test, I found out I was part Scottish. I'm like, screw you.
Interesting.
And what's
I'm
funny
very
is that
curious to see.
there's some white that comes from my dad. I mean, they're mostly black, but there's some white in there. There is some white in there, and
well, the master was sleeping with the slaves. The master did sleep with the slave. I think Thomas Jefferson's mistress was black.
But you want to know some Alabama shit?
Yes, always.
So on Ancestry, they, like you see all your matches, like your cousins, like everyone who you're related to, and with their newest feature, they can like separate like who, like which cousin or family member is from like your parent, like which from which parent, and if they can't identify it, or like it's put into unassigned, or if you got a cousin or some member of the family who you're related to from both sides, they have a selection for that, like have a folder for that. And there's one cousin that is somehow we're related to each other from like both sides. Somehow. And I'm like, like
what have y'all been doing?
Like what?
What
Yeah,
are y'all
what? Like
doing?
what the? Like, yeah, my family is huge. Like, it is very unsafe for me to date where I'm from, because
definitely be careful.
Huge family, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna eventually fuck a cousin. I know I am. Like,
I don't know if it counts by marriage, but I want to go into that, but he wasn't by marriage. I mean, he was by marriage. Like my aunt married my uncle, and it was her.
If you're not related, then I would like it's nothing.
We weren't related.
Yeah,
theoretically.
But,
this was a long time ago. Oh my god, I hope they don't see this. They're gonna be like, "You did what? You did what?" Oh my god, actually, I hope his wife did. Oh no. Well, I wouldn't. Sorry, sister. That was a great Christmas.
Great Christmas.
It was a long time ago. I should not have mentioned that. Oh my god!
Oh,
if people see this, they're going to be like, "You." I just put a lot of people.
Oh Lord.
Oh well, they probably won't. It's a very
like a 99% chance like my family won't see this shit. So it's like, you know what?
Yeah,
screw it.
If they like went through all of it, they're not going to see it. But yeah, if they did, they'd be like, "What?" But it was quite some time. It was a long time ago. He wasn't married at the time, thankfully. But he's married now, and they're still married, so that's great. But with that, this would be a good time to wrap things up. I think I just. This is
Nikki's way of saying I've said too much.
I'm now said too
crawl
much.
Into the corner of my room in a ball,
and hope no one sees this.
And then pray to a God that I don't believe in, that my family won't see this.
Right? I think like my sister and my brother know, but they're certainly not going to say anything. So they probably won't. It was so long ago. I don't think anybody really cares anymore.
What's funny is that my siblings, dad's side, like this family, like I grew up, his parents were my grandparents, like they adopted me as like their own. So, I gained an additional family. But like, so one of his nephews, I don't know, like for a while I had a huge crush on him, and I finally told my siblings, and they were like, "What? Ew!" I'm like, we're not related. I'm like,
Right?
It's
We're not
us
related. It's
too.
fine. I used to have crushes on my cousins too. But like when you were like my cousins now, they're older now. Of course, I know them, and it's my aunt's actual biological sons. But we used to have crushes on my sister and I used to crush on our cousins. I think that's just normal. Like it's not. I'm pretty sure. Like we were like
But it was
7 and 8.
weird for
We
them because it's their cousin, it's like their biological cousin, so it's like it's
oh
for
yeah.
them to hear that their sister, has a thing for one of their cousins. It's just like to that, it's like it's so gross to them. But that was a while ago. Like I don't know why, but he reminded me of Chris Daughtry.
Chris Daughtry. I should Google that. Who is that?
You don't know who Chris Daughtry is?
I
Do
know
you live
Chris
under a
Pine,
rock?
Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pine, Chris.
Chris
There's a lot
Daughtry
of
is
them.
a very famous singer and also he's on American Idol. He's bald and he's a great singer. Like how do
Oh, his head is very elongated. Well, we all have our types. We all have our types. Yay. Oh, his wife is, oh gosh. Okay, girl. Yeah, do you?
Anyway, so he just
Ooh.
reminded me of Chris Daughtry. So like I don't know. I guess it was just I don't know, but
Ooh.
for for a while, I had a thing and I'm like I would envision scenarios playing out where like well, like when I'm older, or like if I lost on my weight and like look really like hot,
Girl, all the
would
time.
he see me? Would he see me in a different way? Or like, what if we started dating? Well, would it have to be a family, like a secret from the family? Like I played out so many different scenarios.
You and Chris Daughtry, girl.
Well, my cousin who looks like Chris Daughtry, or reminds me of Chris Daughtry, but
Right, right. Well, unless I don't have any like cute female cousins. There might be some of my cousins' baby mamas I think are cute, but that's probably it. But I want to thank you so much for coming on my show. It was like so much fun. We definitely have to do it again.
We do. We have to talk more about
Yeah.
dating and like everything because it's like
It's wild out here in these streets. But thankfully, yes, I am no longer attracted to my cousins. That ended like 30 years ago. So I'm happy about that.
the
But
Alabama train has already passed. Like
yeah. Those were childhood crushes. But yeah, if you don't mind, shout yourself out, let people know where they can find you.
well, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook, but that's more like personal use. So it's like I don't
Sure.
really put that out
No,
there.
don't shout that out. No.
I mean, it's not about like I'm afraid of telling everyone my real name or anything. It's just it's just I have friends and family that I'm like Facebook friends with, so it's more for that. But
Sure.
and I'm on Instagram and I'm on TikTok.
Oh,
People
cool.
people seem to hate me on there because like I like my views on certain things attract attention and like and not like positive attention, so it's
Hey, that's how I got big. Are you serious? That's how my pages have grown is like, yeah, but that's okay. That's people will still come to hear what you have to say. So that's all right.
yeah, like I've I'll probably like do a pin tweet of like where people can find me, so like I
Oh,
don't have to
great.
like yeah
And send it
but
to
yeah,
me and I'll put it in the description of the video as well.
okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much again for joining me today. And thanks to everybody who watched the podcast today I had with Miss Sassy. If you are interested in more Beat the Cult content, you can find me on YouTube at Beat the Cult, Twitter as well, at Beat the Cult, and Instagram at Beat the Cult as well. And I also have a Patreon and a store, Beat the Cult store. Well, it's beatthecult.com, but yeah. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. The next episode will be the following Monday. Keep an eye out for that. And I will see you guys later. Thanks again, Miss Sassy.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.